Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. The book that I have picked out to read to you guys today is a book called Plum, and it's How the Sugar Plum Fairy Got Her Wings. So in kindergarten at Buxton Center, we've kind of restructured the writing. So on Tuesdays, it's going to be Tell Me a Story Tuesdays. So I thought this would be a perfect book to go with that because it tells a story of how Plum, the Sugar Plum Fairy, got her wings. So it's kind of like a storytelling that you guys will be doing later when you do your writing. Okay, so I will get started. It's by Sean Hayes and Scott Icenoggle. And the illustrations are by Robin Thompson. Plum. At Mary Fitzgerald Orphanage, Plum was often called the scrappiest, also the loneliest, but definitely the shortest. I'll move over so you guys can see the pictures. Plum is only as tall as my thumb, Val would tease, and the rest of the children would always laugh. Plum dreamed of a family to love, who would love her back. Wishing and waiting can sometimes feel lonely, but she wouldn't stay glum. A bit of parchment, a few pieces of string, and some old fabric, and voila! I'll call you Dottie, Plum said, my best friend. Your only friend, snickered Val. That's not very kind. The adventure that truly changed Plum's life began on Christmas Eve. The children were decorating the trees while waiting for the post office to bring presents donated by the town. But there was a terrible blizzard. Can anything be delivered in all of this snow? Director Griddle worried. Not unless it's a shovel, said Plum. With heavy hearts, the children finished trimming the tree. There would be no presents. Plum had to find a way to help. Just then, Ruggs, the house dog, spotted a mouse. There was a dash, a horrible crash, and a terrible fall. How awful! What Plumsy just did, Val pointed. All eyes turned to Plum. She knew it was wrong to tell a lie, but she also knew it was far worse to get a good dog in trouble, especially at Christmas. It's my fault, she said, and she bowed her head. I'm the one that you should send to bed. Truthfully, Plum was glad to have the time alone. How else would she think up a plan to save Christmas morning? The children needed presents, and Dottie had given Plum the perfect idea. What do you guys think she might do to save the day? Do you have an idea? What does it look like she's doing? Making predictions. She worked for hours and hours, and when she finally finished, Plum put her gifts under all the kids' pillows, even Val's. When she returned to bed, Plum closed her eyes and whispered the wish that she wished every year. Oh, Christmas stars on Christmas trees, guide us to find our families. All of a sudden, there was a scatter and a scuffle below. With Dottie in her hands, Plum tiptoed down the stairs. There was Mr. Drosselmeyer, a mysterious magician who on occasion came to the orphanage to do amazing tricks. He gave a quick wink before slipping away. He left a small something behind. Look, Dottie, she whispered, my very own present. But what could it be? Plum carefully examined the tiny package, a sweet scent filling her nose. If you guys have ever heard of the Nutcracker, I know that my kiddos, I've read it to you guys, but Drosselmeyer is the one that brings Clara the Nutcracker. The nuzzle cake inside was strange and sticky, her stomach growling. Plum ate it, all up in one gulp. Suddenly, the room started to twirl and swirl, and Plum couldn't help but giggle. The giggles turned into laughter, the laughter turned into hiccups, the hiccups into burps, and the burps grew into one big belch, and poof! Her ratty nightgown was transformed. A magic pontoon filled the room. Plum and Dottie climbed aboard, and you guys see how she's changing? Whoosh! They crashed through the front door and into a world made entirely of candy. They raced through fudget trees that had bark of glistening chocolate. They zipped past a row of Polly-Pops and made a sharp turn past the Twinkle Tarts. Even my dreams aren't this exciting, she cheered. Delicious. The ride bounced to a stop beside two fairies who looked very dour. The land of sweets is turning sour, Maritza explained. We can't even eat the gummy grass, said Buzz. And things taste worse the closer that you get to the castle. Maybe we can fix it, said Plum. Afraid not, said Buzz. We're heading to the village to see if there are any sweets left. Then we better hurry, Plum said. Hop on. Maritza and Buzz just stared at her, confused, not knowing what to do. See, the way it works is we go to the village. The village doesn't come to us, Plum said with a wink. Their faces look awfully worried. They zipped through the land of sweets until they came face to face with a giant sugar dune. Let's get a move on, said Plum. They charged up, up, up the hill until Buzz and Maritza took a spill. Help, 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 they cried. The only way Plum could save her new friends was to let her pontoon slide away. Do you think she'll do it? Thank you, Plum, said Maritza. I thought we were done for. Now we'll never get to the village in time, Buzz added. But Plum wouldn't stay glum. Follow me. What a great friend she is, huh? She's sliding right down. When they finally arrived in the village, they saw that shop after shop was shuttered. We're too late, said Buzz. But, started Plum, it was no use. Her friends were already waving a sad goodbye. Plum tried to smile at passerby, but their expressions were cold and bitter. How could such a beautiful place turn so ugly? She saw a man sitting alone on a bench outside of Cricket's cookie shop. People walked past, ignoring him. Let's see him right here. I'm Plum, she said. Is there anything I can do to help? The man didn't look up. I'm afraid not, child. You see, our daughter was taken by the Lord above. It's been many years, but I'm afraid life has lost its sweetness. Plum thought about all the Christmases at the orphanage, feeling so alone. All those years she wished for a family. And then she had an idea. Plum held Dottie for the last time. Here, she said, this is my best friend from the orphanage. She doesn't say much, but she has a lot of love to give. The man was surprised. If you have no family, how come you're giving her to me? No one deserves to be lonely at Christmas. The man smiled. Thank you, Plum. You are as sweet as sugar. Do you know who I am? I just got here. I don't know who anybody is. I am King Christopher of the Land of Sweets. He then asked, how would you like to be a part of my family? King Patrick and I miss having a daughter in our lives. Plum's eyes filled with happy tears. Just then, an older fairy burst out of Constanza's confections, shouting, I've just tasted the Polly-Pops and they're amazing. The Twinkle Tarts, too. I can't believe it. Almost at once, the cloudy gray sky began to brighten. The people of the Land of Sweets looked up and all around, and it beamed. King Christopher and Plum raced past the castle to share their news with King Patrick. Later in the square outside of the castle, King Christopher bellowed, Plum has been proven to have the purest of hearts, and we have adopted her as our daughter. Plum and the two kings hugged once more, this time as a family. They hugged so tightly that Plum started to giggle. The giggles turned into laughter, the laughter into hiccups, the hiccups into burps, and the burps grew into one big belch. And poof. Plum sprouted sparkling wings on her back. They fluttered to life, lifting Plum straight up. The people cheered as she flew through the air in huge circles. Maritza pointed to Plum. Look, she's a fairy just like us. And from that moment on, Plum was known across the land as the Sugar Plum Fairy, the magical girl who saved their kingdom from going sour with her sweet heart. That night, after being tucked in by her fathers, the Sugar Plum Fairy had one final blissful thought. She felt so much love that she vowed to make sure that every child who still lived at the Mary Fitzgerald Orphanage would not stay glum. She's going back. I see her in the window. Even Val. You guys see what she put there? She's giving her a little present. That was so sweet. That was so sweet. Literally and figuratively, that was a very sweet book. So I think that story, it was a great job at telling how something happened, right? So during writing, how authors and sometimes illustrators too, because they tell a story with their pictures, they can, tell a story by thinking about things that happened. They could also make some stories up, things like that. So that's a really fun one. So my friends, today for reading, yesterday we practiced making a connection, right? So tomorrow we'll do something a little different, but today there's two things that I want you guys to think about when you're thinking of this story, okay? When you're thinking of Plum. The first thing is I want you to think of your favorite character in the story. So there was a few different characters. There was definitely one main character, but there was a few different characters. So if you had one that you think was your favorite, I want you to think of that. Okay. There's going to be, I'm sending my kids out. It's like a PDF document that is going to go through on Seesaw, or they can print it out if they want to, of 2 spots. So there's a spot for your favorite character. There's a box for you to draw a picture and to label it, to tell me who it was. And then right below it, there's going to be a spot for the setting. So the setting is where and when a story takes place, okay? So the setting of the story, it happened at a few different places, but I just want you to pick one place that you think this story took place. Okay, there was a few different places that the story led us, okay? All right, my friends, that is it for our read aloud for today. I have my read alouds up here for the rest of the week, and I know you guys are going to love them. There's a book about dinosaurs, one book about dinosaurs. There's one book about dragons and tacos, and then there's one book, and the title of this book, it's going to be out on Friday. I'm going to read it Friday for you guys. The title of this book, my kids are all going to laugh because they love this one. Chicken butt. It's going to be so silly to read, but it'll be a fun one. All right. I will see you back tomorrow with another read aloud. If you are doing your writing, it's Tell Me a Story Tuesday today. So Miss House will have another video coming at you guys for that. Other than that, I hope you have a great day, and it's going to be another nice one. So get outside and enjoy it.